Hey everybody, welcome back to another SnodaReels. I am DimonAssassin and I am here joined by BlackShad
The one and only, baby.
and DJ Lionheart.
Hey guys.
So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, but also these guys' favorite topic, D&D. So here,
How dare
D&D
you assume my favorite
2.
topic, bitch?
Okay, listen, you have multiple favorite topics, okay?
This is true. This is true. This is true.
I
Not incorrect
mean,
there.
we all know what your favorite topic is, okay? Let's be honest.
Creator of the
we
SnodaCast.
can,
Obviously, I have my favorite topic.
we could totally look at what this shelf is right here.
Yeah.
You could literally. I know you cannot see it, but you see that black right above this metal frame right here, like
Yeah.
right here. That's a movie shelf. I will never be able to fully properly show said movie shelf. I mean, I can always get an image, I guess, but like,
Or
yeah,
a
no,
room
that thing
tour.
is fucking. Fuck no, we're not getting a room tour. It'd be all 5 seconds. Be like, okay, here you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
pretty
also
much just 360.
like. I'm
Playing
not
You
a
Spin
fan
Me
of
Right
D&D.
Round.
This whole shelf right here is just books, and then we got the
So
tiles and
Mhm.
the
this
tower.
has been one of my pride and joys since Christmas. For those of you that don't know, it looks like a regular dice chest. However, if I have my keys with me, I could open it up, and it is a mimic dice chest.
Hey.
So
I have a nice little chest too, but
for a
this
second,
one
I
I
thought he
can't
was about to go
open.
like this.
I thought he was about to, you thought he was about to lift up his shirt.
It's like, all right,
I got a
we're
nice
getting
chest.
Chippendale Leon. Here we go.
It has chicken,
Pretty much.
has a few things in it.
I know.
But yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about player experiences, D&D, our first,
There
whether
we
that
go.
be your first time, second time, or just any just experiences overall of D&D. I think me and Leon have a lot to say, but actually want to hear Christian. I want to hear you. How do you feel from the first time you played, and then from when we were playing?
So
Like,
technically, I've had multiple experiences, all varying degrees of time.
okay,
My first quote unquote true experience was I was in I want to say I was in middle school. So a group of friends of mine, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna play D&D," and I'm like, "I
Mhm.
never played D&D. I want to play," and they go, "Okay." And basically from there, I only played like one session for a grand total of 30 minutes,
Yeah,
and we had to go to school. So
yeah.
kind of fucking sucks. But obviously I died out because I couldn't show up every morning, so that kind of sucked ass. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So there was that, and then of course with this group, obviously um, I managed to finally play one of Lewis's homebrew campaigns, and he actually inspired me to start my own, which I have done absolutely jack shit on. So keep in
Hey.
contact with me, and we'll probably maybe get something.
Hey,
But
creating your own campaign is
It's a
pain in
hard,
the
honestly a
ass.
pain in the ass.
difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
It I started working on mine uh 2 years ago, and I'm still fucking working on
Yeah,
it.
no, like it's a chore. You're basically almost writing a novel, like in itself,
Yeah.
like because you
Yeah.
got to think about so many things. Just like, well, not even just the NPCs. It's just like, how do you want your world to function? Do you want to have gods? Do you not want to have gods? You know, all these cool
Mhm.
things that happen even when your
My
players
gods
are
are going
not
to be
even playing.
microscopic. They're going to
Yeah.
be that tiny, but like as soon as they touch, it's like the snail. As soon as it touches you, you die.
Jesus.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, Elon. The snail is coming for you.
yeah. There's a lot to go into making your own homebrew, and as DMing and as a player, you're not going to use everything, or
No.
Oh no.
players are gonna blow it out of the water.
Oh no,
Yeah.
And
that's why whenever I think about things of like even with this campaign that we have, I just kind of save stuff in the back burner. So in case if I do have no ideas, I'm like, okay, let me look back at all the stuff that I didn't use. Here we go.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry,
what
go
I
ahead.
did with my campaign I'm working on, like I have a few modules,
Mhm.
and like I'll read the quest lines, and it's like okay, and then I'll tweak them to fit my narrative.
Okay.
So I'm really picky on which modules I pick up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. No. I mean, so I mean, obviously, like I said, personal experience with these guys. I've had longer sessions. Obviously, I think they were
Mhm.
like what hour and a half, maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
So they're a lot of fun. I like them. I like doing them. You know, only thing I don't like is editing them because this
Yeah.
motherfucker refuses to not say every other syllable.
Hey, I'm getting better. So I mean, I'm trying to get better
Are
every
you
day.
though? We haven't even done a session in months.
I mean, still.
Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. All right. Well, you know, I mean, obviously, I still want to play more. I
Mhm.
definitely want to like venture out and do some other stuff as well. I mean, obviously, I still want to probably be a better player before I become a DM if I were to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I think you will. I think you will with our campaign, especially
oh yeah,
how like even though we slowed down, I think you have a bunch of people who know what they're doing, have been playing the game for who knows how long. I think you're in really good hands. Like,
no, absolutely. I
Yeah.
don't doubt the hands that I've been dealt. It's not a it's not a situation where I'm going to fold. Yes, I'm making poker references, and no, I don't play poker. I just know a few of them. Poker metaphors, they're fun.
There's nothing wrong
Anyways,
with that.
no, I played poker. I just never, I suck at it. But no, obviously, it's just a situation of I appreciate whatever whoever I've been playing with, obviously, and
Mhm.
honestly, you guys, you kind of eased me into it. You helped out with the D&D character creation. There's a lot of stuff that worked out.
And then I
Obviously,
feel like from last session that we recorded,
Mhm.
I feel like you did came out of your shell a lot. Like just
Oh yeah, well, that's my
I
theater
think
kid. That's the theater kid
I
in
think
me.
role playing. I just
Oh, dude,
me
like
fucking dying
yeah,
laughter.
yeah. Obviously, so I don't know if we released that session yet.
we no we you
We're still
still
working on
working
it.
on it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously, probably by the time this comes out,
Yeah,
maybe I don't know. Honestly, I think I only have like what another couple hours worth of editing,
yeah, that's
so not bad.
basically it. So
Yeah, so not terrible, not terrible. Yeah, no, obviously, I being an Avatar: Last Airbender fan, and I was like, oh well, we're stranded in the desert. What would my character do? What would my dumbass do? I would probably drink the wrong cactus juice and just so of course I also flub the line. I say, oh, it's the squanchiest, and it's like the fuck. No, it's the quinchiest, and it's like whatever. But
Hey, no,
yeah,
it builds character. Shut up.
it
It
builds
builds
character. Shut
character.
up. Yeah, and of course,
It made the moment even more hilarious.
and the
Cause
fact
like
that
I'm
you
like,
brought up, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, because like I feel like even though you messed up, I feel like it just made the moment better because
Oh
it
yeah,
made it feel like you were like, in my opinion, it felt like you weren't copying, but like
no,
Yeah.
no.
it
I
felt
was
like
Yeah.
it
definitely
came
heavily
out of your
inspired.
character, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it helps that obviously I do a different accent and everything else. I flip into this more relaxed, calm, definitely British, obviously. But yes, I know it sounds terrible, probably to a natural Brit, obviously. But no, I think it works perfectly fine because because my character is a half elf, and I think that if he was raised by an elf, he would obviously have more of that high class rule and everything else like that. But of course, he's also part human. Yeah.
Mhm.
So obviously, that's the biggest thing, right? So it's just one of those things. And you brought up coming out of my shell. That's the theater kid in me.
Yeah.
Yes, is it really that much of a shocker that I was a theater kid to any other
I
theater kid?
No,
mean,
not
No.
really.
yeah,
I was
not
also in
really.
choir. I was in
I,
choir before I was in theater.
I
So
mean, I got to a little, a little taste of theater. So I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. No, 100%. And obviously it's just one of those things like, yeah, I was in fucking high school. I was an asshole. I never wanted to get like straight up goofy. And now I'm like, oh yeah, no, I love getting goofy. It's fun.
Yeah. And
Like,
if whoever's watching this video and has seen the first two episodes of Dumbasses and Ditzes, in this episode, Gladrian gets a nice little taste of don't fuck with Tinrick.
Yes, he does. That he
Oh,
does.
see.
Yeah. Also, I get a nice little element of don't fuck with. Oh shit! Who else was it?
It was Anara's character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nara's character.
The
Yeah, I
name
remember
that is
that.
like really hard to pronounce. Her character's
I'm not even gonna pronounce her name.
Idumya.
because-
Idumya.
She would have
That's what
probably,
it
if
is.
she was here, she would probably say, "Nope, wrong."
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No, but obviously, me being the proprietor editor, I guess is the best way to say it, the primary editor of these things. Hence the reason it's been taking so long. I get burnt out like crazy.
Mhm.
Obviously that's part of the reason why it's taking so long. But I do splice in a couple memes here and there, and obviously it was my idea to do the previously on Dumbasses and Ditzes. Now on Dumbasses and Ditzes, and it's just it's like it's a compilation of the memes, and I love that.
Didn't we record like me?
We
You
recorded
like,
you.
me.
We recorded. I want to say we recorded Anara. I don't entirely know.
I don't remember, and
I know we recorded me. I know we recorded you. I
me
think we
100%.
recorded Leon. Did we not record you?
No, we haven't
Okay.
recorded-
So then it might have been
No.
Noel, or it was either Noel or
okay,
Anara.
I think if we recorded my thing, which I believe we were talking about the dream sequence, you would know. You would
Fair
know.
enough. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, if it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we did that like what? I think it was like the second day after, or the second week after the first session happened,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I was just like, "Fuck it, I need some lore. I need some of that
Yeah.
sweet backstory." to come
Right.
out."
We
I couldn't
backstory
contain
that
myself.
breaks your fucking
And
heart.
oh my god,
Jesus.
dude, I like I thought
What,
I
were you
was
like hypnotized to eat your own child? What the
no,
fuck happened? Like,
I made Leon
No,
cry.
dude.
I almost
It's
made
a
Leon cry.
tearjerker,
I was
dude.
crying, but Jesus Christ.
oh right, all right. I'll definitely bring definitely bring the tissues whenever Leon's character gets his backstory revealed.
Oh, dude, it's a gut
It's
wrencher. Like
intense.
It's a
intense.
gut wrencher.
like
Okay.
in a sense of like not like I will say this, it's not like very depressing or very like over the top like Allie's, because
Mhm.
Allie's is so fucked right
I know
now.
Allie's is fucked. I know Joe's is fucking aneurysm
Oh, no.
inducing.
Dude, that God, like his like honestly, if we compared Allie and Joe's character, like backstories, I think his was the worst one out of everybody's. I'm not even gonna lie.
Really?
Like
Just
his
too
was
far detailed, or
not like too far detailed, but like the events that were going to happen
Mhm.
were going to be so not traumatic, but so like eventful that
Mhm.
I feel like it was either going to go two ways with the party. It was either going to
go swimmingly or go to shit?
yeah, like
Fair enough.
I mean, I can talk about it now since I mean a little bit since I mean not into too much details, but like basically it was going to be between choosing him or or the party, like in that kind of a situation,
Oh,
like
okay.
a split like
I'm
a split
assuming that
heart
was
choice.
Joe's decision.
No, that was
No.
my decision from what he provided for me for his backstory. Because remember
Okay.
when we and I'm glad we're recording this when we did our zero session or
Session 0, yeah, we went
session
over
0,
everybody's.
we went
Yeah.
over everybody's characters. I told them to kind of give me a little bit of backstory. I didn't want a full page. I think that was the one thing I liked that I set myself was not like a paragraph, but just
No,
something to
yeah.
work with. Not only
Like a brief summary of what this character is up to, who they are,
and
basically.
especially for since I'm doing all this through my head and homebrew and add and away a little bit away from the normal rules of D&D, I think it worked out really well. I've
That's good.
enjoyed every second, and it also gives me like time between you or Leon or whoever of the party to kind of like have our one-on-one sessions of like, hey, how are you doing? what do you feel about this? What do you feel about your character right now? Do you need this, or how, or what do you want out of your character? And we'll try to talk our way into like how it could be possible, and it makes sense for that for your character to either have or want or do certain things.
Right. That makes sense. Honestly,
Mhm.
I don't remember really much of anything from my backstory. I think I gave you my backstory, right?
Yes, I have
Yeah.
some, like, all of it is in my head. I have it
Okay.
written down
Right.
and I have pictures and stuff. I have some ideas for your character. I just haven't we just haven't had the time to talk about it. And also wanting to record episodes. That's another thing because because well, also because I feel like, and like I will say again, like if you haven't watched it, please go watch some of the episodes. But like, and I'm
I know they're
gonna
a chore, but
I'm gonna spoil a little bit of this episode. Basically, like, and since almost everybody in the party knows, you know, whatever next area y'all decides on who, like, backstory
whose
work
backstory
on.
we go into.
Yeah.
Swear to God, if you give me the fucking swamp, I'm gonna kill you.
Actually,
Bitch.
your backstory is not in the swamp.
Fucking thank God. Where is it?
It's in the city.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
I will spoil that. Like, it's in the city for reasons because of your backstory and because of what you told me. So
where I came from,
yeah,
what particular goes on with my character's
Mhm.
father.
Yeah,
Yes, I do know that. Yes, yeah,
so
absolutely.
there was I like all these things that we're talking about. Like these little details and stuff that, like, they work out perfectly because of how well of, like, I gave y'all kind of like a summary or somewhat blueprint of how the land is.
Yeah.
And
Welcome to Lewis masturbating himself about how well he did a homebrew.
listen here. I didn't do too well, but like I'm happy how it's going. So
I got you, dude. Hey, you
And
got to
it's still a lot
congratulate
of
yourself
work.
in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. I completely.
And that's
'cause
one of the big keys too, is
it is very
communication
hard
between
for
DM and player. That is like
and,
one of the biggest things, and it has to come from both sides. It can't just be one.
and it is very hard to try to essentially connect things that are not even there, especially when you've only had like somewhat of like a short extent of like information of the backstory, and also having it to be okay with the player too.
Yeah, for sure.
But back to the top. I know we went a whole big tangent, but I mean,
honestly,
it's part of it.
hey, it's D&D. This is
Yeah.
meant to be a little bit more
Everything.
distracted. It's longer, in-depth
Yeah.
detail, obviously. So,
But Leon, how was your experiences as a player?
My very first experience, I actually played D&D with my aunt and uncle. They were the ones who got me into it.
Oh, dude, that
dope.
has to be some awesome stories.
that has to be a lot of fun.
It was. I kind of was thrown into the middle of a campaign because
As a lot of people are when they're first starting off.
Shit, I was too. Don't worry about it.
Previous players kind of had a falling out with my aunt and uncle.
Yeah,
so I took over their character, and that was my first introduction, of course, and it was my first introduction to the ranger class, and that's how I started.
Wow.
And yeah, I know people don't like it when people say it, but my first adaptation for D&D was fourth edition.
I mean,
4.5.
I mean, it's the same thing with like 5th edition, but like you got to understand, like even like in the beginning of D&D, like the D&D rules and the way it was made wasn't
beginning.
Wasn't very, I don't know, it was like it wasn't very structured enough to where I think a lot of people would get into it at the time.
Yeah.
And also the fact I feel like it was so niche that it just felt like, I don't know, it's like it was harder to play back then. Like, not to say that it wasn't hard to like actually physically play, but I mean to understand everything, especially
Right.
because things change, and that's why we have 5th edition, 4th edition, and just all these different like versions of the game that we have now that weren't out during that time. And I feel like you learn out of all playing through all these different editions, like
Oh yeah, for
including
sure.
Pathfinder. Which, oh god,
Yeah.
whenever I play a game of Pathfinder will be the
Oh.
day that I'm going to lose my shit.
Now,
My
okay.
insanity.
So, while we've been taking a semi-hiatus break from your session, I actually started into a Pathfinder campaign with another
is
group, and I am like, one, it's a whole new rule set.
Oh yes.
It's a whole new rule set. I honestly don't like the way the player sheet is laid out. I honestly don't like it.
It's horrible.
It is ridiculous. And also, I am learning the monk class into that one too. So for me, it's like 100% a brand new experience into Pathfinder.
And Pathfinder is very intimidating because it's all about like being structured, being like everything has to be with the numbers and stuff. So, but aside from all that, is there any other like experiences as a player, Leon? Like any other thing?
Well, after that is like I still play with my aunt and uncle for quite a while. Then we stopped playing just because they moved and they couldn't find a lot of the stuff. So on the next campaign we started, I actually got a nice little crash course in playing multiple characters.
Oh, okay.
So I was playing 2 characters. I was playing the Ranger, of course, because that was my first introduction and I loved it. And I got to play around with the cleric.
Okay.
So, and to make it a little easier for myself, I made them twins, and they're twin brother and sister. So
that's awesome.
It just made it a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
And we had such a blast with that. And then my aunt was playing a barbarian and a monk.
Ooh.
And the monk and the ranger kind of had a Legolas Gimli relationship. Okay, so I'll go get started. This is one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite part of that session we did. So we had to go rescue a few villagers that were kidnapped by a bunch of goblins, right? So we get
as you do
in D&D. And so we get to their hideout. It's like this whole ruined castle, right? So my aunt and I look at each other. We're like, okay, we got this. So literally like full on stealth the whole fucking time. And we were just picking off the goblins one by one by ourselves.
Hell yeah, like badasses.
Full on sneak attacks. And like we were making a competition out of it, which didn't start out as a competition at first, but she started it. I was going for mine. I was like flung a dagger and she fucking knocked the goblin out before it hit. I'm like, you motherfucker. So we all got this competition, and like the last guy was up in a tower, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, okay, we shoot at the same time. She botches it.
Oh,
so her shuriken like just bounces off, and the goblin's like, what? And I'm like, oh shit, roll nat 20. So
you love to
arrow,
see it. You love to see
arrow,
it.
meet right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my
fucking intense, man.
That was one of my more favorite experiences into D&D.
Not bad.
The one that literally almost made me quit playing D&D. Like, this one was really bad. It actually almost made me quit the my buddy's campaign, like full on campaign too. I was playing we were doing a whole sci-fi campaign, and the way he had it, it was like a whole bunch of different sci-fi ideas mixed matched in together. So I was working on a Star Wars Jedi Knight character.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So basically how he had it was my character left Coruscant into a completely different area, and I have to rebuild my lightsaber because the way he had it in his campaign, lightsabers are considered legendary weapons.
Yes, yeah.
As you do. So going through the start of it was fine. Like nothing big. Issues with xenomorphs, but that's a whole other thing. And what ended up happening was, like, at first it didn't really bug me because it happens. Is my character gets killed off. Which, yeah, fine, okay. Sucks. It happens. Come to find out later, like maybe a week or two, because we had finals the next week, so we couldn't really like do anything. So during those 2 weeks, come to find out that it was an actual intentional character death.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, in a sense of like, so that you wouldn't play anymore, or so that, or
no,
like,
so I wouldn't play the character anymore.
That's, I mean, that's a big stretch, especially because that's also like a conversation between you and the DM.
Yeah, and there was no conversation between me and the DM about that. So that was a whole issue.
Yeah, that's some messed up stuff.
And it wasn't just the DM that was part of it. It was a few other players too.
That sucks. Yeah, that seems like that was like they kind of like also didn't want you to also play it, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't know. I never found out the full story, and you never really do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It really did piss me off to the point where I almost quit the game entirely, almost quit the club entirely, and told all of them to go fuck themselves. Luckily, it didn't get to that point, but it was pretty damn close. So, and normally, you like, when a character dies, you rip up your page for it, like usually you do. Yeah. I did not do that to mine. So, my Jedi Knight is still tucked away, waiting to be used.
Yeah. I will say this, like, for my campaign, I don't want anybody to get rid of their character sheet if it becomes to a point to where someone does die in the party. There is plans. So,
well, aren't we planning on killing off one particular in general just because he's no longer part of the group anymore?
Yeah, but I'm saying like the rest of the party. Like if someone, like I have a backup, like in case, if in a sense of like I roll, I didn't mean to like kill the player, but like I rolled well and it just kind of so happened.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, because I feel like, honestly, like, player deaths are very hard, especially because of the fact of you got to do them right. Like, not in the sense of like not just only talking to your DM about it if you want to kill off a character. I've also specified if any of these guys in my campaign want to take a break from that character because, I don't know, they forever, for whatever some reason, if they feel worn out or they just don't have anything else that they would like to work on with that character, I'm also giving them the option to make a new character with, and obviously not setting them back to like below, level 1 again, but like, building that character up from whatever level we're at that moment and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, And what do you think about my campaign and stuff?
Oh, I think it's pretty fun so far. Obviously, like the first full in-depth campaign I've ever been really a part of, so that's kind of fun. I like the idea, I really do. I think it's I think it's an interesting world, though. Granted, what did I keep comparing it to? Freaking
You compared it to Fairy Tale. You compared it to anime. Like,
did I? Yeah, I
only
did.
because of the guild. Because I wanted to do
Yeah.
something a little bit different instead of it just being, "Hey, we're in the mercenaries like tavern."
Yeah.
That
No, my
I
thing
wanted
is yeah,
I
I like
wanted it to feel well. The guild inspired thing is like I wanted it to be like at least like sort of like a central area
Mhm.
to where at least at wherever any other new party that will come into my world,
Mhm.
it will all at some point be all connected, whether
Mhm.
they're in the Dragonfang Guild or wherever, if they're in a different continent, which I've yet to figure out what I'm going to do with that yet. But
or an opposing guild, because I
yeah,
know that can
and
happen too.
yeah, and I've
So,
to figure out other guilds, which I should honestly. That's probably a good starting point of from the desert. I'm pretty sure I can like all of it makes sense, especially because of that guild itself.
Mhm.
mhm.
I feel like we haven't talked about it or no one has spoken up about like, hey, is there any other guilds? And I feel like yeah, there is. There should be. So, but
No, I don't hate the idea.
and I feel like until I can like finalize every different region, I think we can see some pretty interesting situations and
Yeah,
stuff in the near
Yeah.
future.
yeah, I full
Uh,
heartedly agree to that.
but like Leon, what do you think? Like how do
Oh,
you think playing with the
um,
group that we're in?
okay. Like, I thought of this character, Tinric. Is like my mind child for a while. I actually was using him from a different campaign, but due to circumstances, we could not find good schedule for all of us to get together, so we kind of had to scrap it. So, so he was just sitting in the box with the rest of my characters for a
I like
while.
the best.
Yeah, and then like when you mention your campaign, it's like, okay, I kind of want to try this character out a little more. Like, we did a couple sessions
Mhm.
previously, so um, it's a druid. If you guys haven't watched it, I'm playing a druid. Time doing that as well. Um,
I find it funny
and
that this Snoda reel about D&D just became, oh yeah, we're in a campaign, by the way. Be sure to check it out. Just
Yeah. Plug,
I,
plug,
I
plug,
mean,
plug, plug, plug,
I
plug.
mean, it happens. Okay, when
it
you're
does. Yeah.
yeah, it happens to that. So playing around with it for that, and then like I gave you like the bare minimum shit that I had
Oh
with
yeah.
my character, like bare fucking minimum, and you
Mhm.
took that and with this, and I am like shocked on how you did that. Like, it's
I
crazy. It's like, I
I
don't know how everyone else's backstories are going, and hope to learn more about them later. But
Lewis pretty much
I'm
had to like
enjoying
beat
it.
the shit out of my backstory because or not beat the shit, he had to beat the shit out of me in order to get the backstory out because I'm like, look, I don't know, and he's like, okay, so what about this? I'm like, sure, and he's like, no, you got to decide between this and this. And I'm like, I, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, what? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, but no, like, obviously with my campaign, like, I have sat back and thought about it a couple times. I really have. Like, I have an idea of what type of world I want to build, where I ultimately kind of want to end it. Like, I kind of want to work my way from how it's supposed to end back.
Mhm.
Obviously, I think I could come up with another ending, but like the main thing I really want to do is like, I know that everybody's like, oh, we're a mercenary group, or oh, we're just, yada yada yada. I was thinking honestly, it could be similar to yours, Lewis, in
Mhm.
the fact that they're all kind of being forced to meet each other. But I
Mhm.
was thinking it could basically be something along the lines of like each and every person was either about to head into prison or was getting out of prison.
Yeah, and
For like, yeah.
I have some ideas actually for like
Yeah.
maybe like future campaign wise
Yeah.
stuff, and obviously like thinking about all these different ideas of approaching stuff too, like with phase 2 as well, which I'm excited about phase 2 because like I the funny thing is like even before I even thought about the whole entire like world and campaign, phase 2 was already in my head because well, phase 2 was originally supposed to be phase 1.
Right.
Those campaigns were like written out to be the first 4 campaigns that were going to be different groups individually. I know your group would be the first one, but no, I was excited to do these campaigns, and then I don't know. I I felt like I could do more with them, so that's why I kind of just like pushed them off to the side because I'm like I feel like I can really build off from them. So let me just try to figure it out as I go, and I think I can slowly fit everything in eventually. Because
Right.
the way that I'm feeling right now with the world and with everybody, I feel like I can. I really do feel like I can fit everything together. Even though a lot of people are like, well, your players are very like unpredictable and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but that's the fun of it. I think you can fill stuff out even if it's so out of the ordinary, or your players, draw to this one NPC that you decide to make that has no recollection or no importance to the whole entire story and campaign, but
Yeah.
they love this one NPC and stuff. So then the DM decides is forced to make some like backstory for them and stuff. And I feel like that's the fun of it too. So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's actually funny you bring up prison because that's how we met our Minotaur barbarian friend. He was actually going to be executed. Actually.
oh Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. And we found out that later on we found out he was originally working for the big bad. So me as the rager was like completely untrusting of him after that fact. Like
yeah.
even though we just saved his ass from being executed,
Yeah.
I still don't trust him. But I
Fair
deal
enough.
with it because my twin sister decided that they're gonna be compatible, be buddy buddy, and like fine, I'll deal.
So my campaign, what I have an idea for, the style I'm going for is kind of that steampunk fantasy, but I'm
Ooh.
thinking more akin to Arcane, the Netflix League of Legends show, just because I'm like, okay, that could be an interesting idea. And the way to kind of bring in the fantasy elements is it's a relatively normal world,
Mm-hmm.
And that show really
but you
works
have that
very
portal that
well.
brings all these fantasy creatures in. And of course, obviously the prison element, or at the very least, like committing crimes. I'm thinking, like, honestly, very theft. Like they're like thieves or assassins, or yada yada yada, etc. etc. Like, and I'm thinking the guy that ultimately lets them out, he's supposed to be trustworthy, but realistically, he's ultimately going to be like either one of the big bads or the big bad. So essentially it's evolved. My original plan is it's eventually going to lead into, like, the whole point is he sends you on these side quests, which are, they feel like bullshit because you're getting like, oh, a little component here, a little component there, but then
Yeah.
ultimately, like, where it was supposed to lead to was is going to be this giant mechanical dragon run by electricity. And so the way I was thinking about kind of doing like the armor plating is, if you hit the armor plating, it'll eventually, like, if you hit it enough times or you hit it hard enough, it'll fall off and it'll reveal kind of this like electricity looking shit. And so
Like the
ultimately
industriality.
you got to find the brightest point of it. So it's almost like a two-way battle. So like the more armor you take off, you eventually will reveal that it's like in the neck. Like you hit the neck, they can't do the blast. You hit the eye, they can't
Like
really.
yeah, like certain
Yeah,
things like
certain
you.
elements eventually will kill it. And so
Yeah.
that was my original plan. Now, of course, I think honestly, maybe one of the characters could die depending on where that goes to. Like, obviously all of them could survive, all of them could die. It could happen. It's just one of those things. It's like, oh well, that's Obviously, I would hate for all of everybody to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just think it's I don't know. I think it's
I
an
feel
interesting
like it's just gamble of the dice, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
I mean,
I
like
like that idea of
you
just kind of
could
making it that world.
you could you could prepare, and you could have your team ready and stuff, and you could even like have certain things prepared, but like like the dice always speaks for itself, so I
Oh
mean
yeah,
like
100%. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun just to kind of have it. And obviously I think it should be kind of similar to or not similar, but I think like the main idea is, of course, somebody's not going to trust this character that
mhm,
is ultimately leading him out. It's like, why do you want us of all people? It's like you have an assassin, a thief, a bomb expert, and a druid. What the hell are you planning?
yeah,
It's that kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's
it's the
like it's
same
a
it's
heist. Yeah.
yeah, it's the
Okay.
same thing with url and the like hooded figure that's with
Yeah, yeah. It's
right
like, who the
now.
fuck are you? What do you want?
He's like
Yeah. So I think honestly that would be it. But I think like there's going to be a situation where I believe that somebody will ultimately end up getting injured.
Mhm,
And of course, this guy being a scientist and a doctor,
Mhm.
he's gonna ultimately help that character heal. And I think that's what's gonna win them over, therefore making the betrayal so much more gut wrenching.
mhm,
And it's just one of those things. It's like, damn, this guy was actually really nice. He's like, oh, this is gonna help the realm. And it's like, okay, cool. And then ultimately it's like, yeah, it's gonna help the realm to fit my needs, that kind of thing. So it's like he's just an ass. And it's like, okay, he's obviously still a very nice person, but he's just fucking evil.
mhm.
And I think that's what I really kind of want to go for, is something along those lines.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still got to iron out the details, but I think that
Mhm.
that's a really good input.
I will say what helped me out
Yeah.
is to practice with people who have never played,
Mhm.
and then you just work your way there, and
Yeah.
watch just people playing a fifth edition. Like I know a lot of people are like, don't watch people playing D&D. Like you should learn it. Like you
Mhm.
should learn it by yourself. Like learn it in a sense of like join a group and stuff. And like it's the same thing. Like I think one good example is Critical Role. A lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't watch them because they've been playing for so long and Matt Mercer has been DMing for so long. I don't think it's a bad thing. Now I
Mhm.
get that a lot of people are trying to quote unquote have what's called the Matt Mercer effect, which is make this like glorious campaign, which it's not always going to happen, but like I feel like the the I feel like you just have to be a very good storyteller.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like if you can basically be confident enough of what you're saying, I think anybody can run a good campaign.
Yeah.
As good as Matt Mercer. And like I feel like not just with Matt Mercer, but I feel like in a lot of things in life, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh well, you can't be as good as so and so. I'm like, yeah, you can, but it's in your own different way, in your own different style. Like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I feel like it's better to be different than trying to copy someone else's work
Mhm.
and trying to
Yeah.
be very like right on the money of how someone else is doing it. Now, granted, like throughout the years, like with movies and especially with D&D and stuff and different ideas and stuff, uh nothing is original. So I mean, like they pointed out about the guild. I mean, I thought it was, I always thought it was just a good idea to start a party in a guild. But like
Yeah.
obviously you can have references like and then here and there, yes, I did put a few like anime small references here and there too,
And
just
honestly, I
because
think there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
And like from the few campaigns I've watched, not just Critical Roles, there's a few others that I've watched throughout YouTube. Not really everyone starts out in a guild. That's kind of at least the ones I've seen recorded. Now, granted, that
Mhm.
could be anyone else. It could be a more popular thing than I'm recognizing, but the majority of the time, it's not really guild centered.
Yeah.
It's usually different. Um, and another thing, when it comes to like all like especially Critical Role, they're also all professional voice actors too.
Yeah.
So like yeah, they're they're more trained in that. And honestly, like if you want to do that kind of like get into voice acting yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can find videos right here on YouTube that can help you get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, I think you're right, Leon. I think we're not all none of us are like voice actors and stuff. I always enjoy our sessions, not just because like I feel like if you're comfortable with the people around you and you get very very
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, you can create some funny moments. You can let
Oh yeah.
loose. You can create funny moments. You can I think moments like that, funny moments, and like not just funny moments but also like just epic moments of someone rolling shit for the last like whole entire rounds of that fight and then finally like going over that hill and finally hitting a nat 20 and everybody losing their mind because
Yeah.
they needed it because almost every half of the party was almost about to die and they really needed that one damn nat 20 to save their skins. And
Yeah.
I just
And of course,
enjoy
you
that.
had the one smartass in the party that goes, "It's a megalodon."
Oh my god.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, just to kind of wrap up for me and my experiences, I had a different experience. So
Lewis, nobody gives a shit. No, I'm kidding.
hey, fuck you. I did not start off playing D&D young. I with a lot of things I always felt like in a sense like, oh, that's not for me, and like, oh, that I don't see myself in you know getting into D&D and stuff until like slowly I started realizing and started like kind of like breaking out of my shell of like I think I'm going to enjoy this a lot, and I think I really am going to enjoy this more than anything else that I've put a lot of work into.
Right.
And I didn't realize this until I got older that like I am a very good storyteller even like when it comes to certain things, and I do enjoy like creating stories. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I think I just get very excited when I think of different ideas and stuff. And I don't know. It's just like it's all in my head.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird part about it. I think with a lot of people, it's like, oh well, I need to like write things down. I'm like, no, everything is in my brain. Like everything, all these ideas stay in my head. If I really want to do something, they will stay in my head until like I have like done it or written it down on paper or did whatever I was supposed to do with it. But yeah, I started off with just playing a one shot with a friend of mine, and it was pretty fun. Like my first class was a monk. A lot of people have like surprisingly a lot of people choose the main, you know, classic format. Like you got your archer, druid, ranger, bard. I chose monk because I felt like I'm just how I see myself and play video games. I'm the one that's like always gonna like try to destroy or bash in or attack or the first one to attack or the first one, to make something happen and just go insane and kind of basically like a barbarian, which I'm surprised I didn't like pick the barbarian, but no, I enjoyed playing a monk. And his name is Nolos. He is a pirate, and yeah, it's very fun. It's very fun playing him because I his voice is normally it's nothing special. It's my voice. I made it that way because I felt like a part of me. It's more of a serious voice. Like there are some moments where obviously like that character basically blends with me. So like if I
Mm-hmm.
mess up or done goof, obviously I play it out with the character and it makes for funny moments. But yeah, and then also with a campaign that I'm also in with a group of friends at work. Oh, it's so much fun playing Phineas. Phineas is an artificer. He is kind of like a gunsmith.
I see you stole my class, you fucking thief.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a very sick legendary weapon. Like basically a dragon scaled handgun, which is fucking
Interesting.
awesome. And I can only use that one shot per day. So that shot basically Thanos snaps someone. Basically, as soon as I shoot them, they turn into dust.
So it's the BFG then. I have a Doom tattoo. Of course, I have to reference Doom at some point.
Yeah. No, but like, yeah, and then since I started playing with them, I started getting ideas for our campaign. So, but yeah, no, I've enjoyed all my experiences so far. I think all of us can agree. I think like being a player in D&D is the most fun experience ever because you don't have to worry about too much. Like you really don't. All it is just having fun and goofing off with your friends and having a good time. And I mean that's pretty much it. Like that's most of what D&D is about is just like in a player perspective is just to have fun. You know, if you're watching this and you haven't played D&D, I would highly recommend it. Like even if you're not very comfortable at first, or don't worry about the role playing.
Role playing eventually comes naturally. Trust me, everybody's going to be awkward, especially if they don't play D&D like every other day. Everybody's going to be awkward the first couple sessions. But once you really start finding a groove on how you do everything, I mean, obviously it depends on who you're playing with. One of our characters never really found his groove. Granted, I think it's because he was socially awkward.
Yeah.
So, that was part of the reason why. And obviously that's its own issue. Of course, you're going to run into those people all the time. But I mean, the role playing comes naturally. If you don't feel comfortable doing an accent at first and then you want to throw one in there, be like, oh yeah, I just wasn't comfortable for a while. Most people wouldn't give a shit. That's the best thing. They really don't. They don't care. And that's the best part is they just don't care. So it is what it is. But obviously, go ahead.
Yeah. But also keep also in mind as players, make sure your DM's having fun too. Make sure he's not getting burnt out because his work is hard.
Except for this fucker. This fucker deserves to be burnt out. He don't deserve no fun.
Him and his terrible accent where he tries to talk like this every 5 seconds for every other character. And it doesn't even sound remotely this good.
but yeah. Players, make sure your DM's having fun too. For 5 gold.
For 5 gold. Lewis knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, make sure he's having fun so he's not burnt out, and like, hey, make sure you let him know he's doing a good job, because
Lewis, you're doing a dog shit job.
Because that's gonna make your DM get more into it, and maybe some crazy shit happens that you weren't expecting, and it'll be a lot more fun. It's all crazy experiences, and no campaign, no character, no player is the same. So you're gonna have a different experience every game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, every session, even, because either someone will pull something out of nowhere and do something, or a new character will come in, or anything like that. It's the one things I really, really love about D&D is anything can happen, and for better or worse, we're gonna have a fun time.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think this concludes this episode.
Absolutely.
But I really don't mean it to be long, but it's D&D. It could go so many directions, especially with whatever topic we do.
I completely understand, dude. I really do. Trust me, I can talk all day about certain subjects as well. So it's just one of those things. It's I mean, it's fine, Lewis. I don't personally care. It's your show. But yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I have been DimonAssassin, your host for this time, and I have also, of course, joined by BlackShad.
You know it, baby. I'm
oh
kidding.
my god, this is his new catchphrase. Oh my god. You know it, baby. I am Black Shad.
No. Black Shad would obviously my thing would obviously just be I don't even really know because Leon just kind of stole the best one, which was stay nerdy, everyone. But no, obviously my thing would probably be something along the lines of just I don't know, something movie related. I'll have to find something. It might just be random movie quotes at some point. So I guess for this one, even though it makes no sense related to D&D, it's a megalodon.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I like doing that voice.
Joined by DJ Lionheart.
Hopefully the dice roll in your favor in every session. And of course, as always, stay nerdy.
Hey, we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely.
Hello everyone, this once again is BlackShad56. If you like these videos, be sure to check out the playlist for SnodaReels. And of course, if you want to get some less in-depth thought processes on other topics, be sure to check out the podcast. We'll be dropping episodes every Saturday. Thank you all. Be good people.